Ronald J. Zabrok was born February 16, 1925, in St. Paul, Minnesota.
In World War II, I signed up just before my 18th birthday I would have been drafted, because if you signed up and went in then, you got your choice of service. Otherwise, you'd end up in the Army.
In 1943, he went to boot camp for 6 weeks, then to a receiving station on Terminal Island near the shipyard in San Pedro.
From 1939 to 1945, they built almost 3,000 of these Liberty ships for the Merchant Marine to try and build them faster than the Germans could sink them. So the Navy took some and converted them from just cargo ships to carrying troops and cargo.
He set sail on the USS Rotanen. The crew picked up a Seabees construction battalion and headed to New Caledonia in the Coral Sea.
We carried a lot of Seabee battalions, which did a lot of the building of docks and air forces and roads and everything like that. And so we could take all their gear, which was stowed in the bottom of the ship. Like the biggest thing we took was small tanks. Mostly there was a lot of trucks and jeeps and that kind of and their equipment. And then they would put the planks down, and then they would put up the bunks, five bunks high.
Ron says he made the mistake of not going to school to specialize after going to boot camp.
I just wanted to get overseas and fight with my Marine brothers. Big mistake. So when I got on board ship, I was just a deckhand, seaman second class, in the first division. And so my best friend had gone to radio school, and so he was in what we call the radio shack. And he said, "Why don't you come up? We need some more people there." So I went up at what was called a striker. A striker is the one that just learns as he goes. And so I knew the keyboard and I could type, so I was able to do that. And they would just give me a set of earphones and a typewriter, and I would just listen to I had to learn the code. I didn't know the Morse code. I had to learn the code.
He also learned how to be a trainer on a 5-inch gun.
And the trainer is the one that goes this way, sideways. Mm-hmm. And the little Zimmerman used to come by when we were practicing shooting at that. He'd say, "Lead the target, lead the target." Of course, he knew about it, mm-hmm. And he was true. So we had good gun crews. And what they do, they put a target behind an airplane, and then they would fly it behind there, and then you would shoot it there.
During the remainder of the war, Rotanen transported more than 60,000 men, including American Marines, Air Force, New Zealanders, and Marine jungle dogs.
Our ship was 2 years in the Pacific without coming home. 2 years. Just running around back to all the different islands, delivering troops and cargo. And in those 2 years, we sailed 268,000 nautical miles.
The crew and their exploits were inspiration for Officer Thomas Hagen's book and subsequent 1955 film, Mr. Roberts. On the other side of the world, Ron ran into friends from home.
Of course, when I'd see them there, I'd always bring them up to the mess hall for lunch. And the chief cook said, "Zabrok, how the hell many guys do you know out here?" Because I kept running across everybody, and I'd bring them in, but they never turned them down. And it was good. They'd get a good different meal for a change, yeah.
Ron remembers being in Guam at the end of World War II.
We picked up Japanese officers, prisoners of war, mm-hmm. And we were taking them to Hawaii, because we were on our way back to the States. So we stopped in Hawaii and dropped them off. And when we left Hawaii, and I remember that because it was in August, because we were halfway to San Francisco when the war ended and I remember the date because it was my dad's birthday, August 14th. But over in Japan, it was August 15th already.
Afterwards, he enlisted in the reserve and worked converting appliances to natural gas. In 1950, he got a call to serve in Korea as a radioman on a minesweeper. He departed for the Panama Canal in 1951.
When we got a message that that stopped us because they didn't need us a minesweeper, they'd already swept all the mines.
Oh.
So I never really got to Korea, but I still had to serve the 15 months.
Over the years, the Rotanen's crew had many reunions. Last year, the 2 remaining crew, Ron and Rusty, continued the tradition. Rusty died earlier this year, and Ronald J. Zabrok is now the last man standing from the USS Rotanen. For Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.